A lot has changed in Destiny since the days when Multimach was the king of the jungle. This gun used to be like one of the standout choices for dueling at close ranges in PvP, but since we said goodbye to the Multimach many seasons ago, we've gained a whole suite of insanely juiced SMGs that led to a literal SMG meta, that we had to endure for multiple seasons. I mean, Shayura's Wrath was so meta-defining for a while that it was often like, use one or get ran in endgame PvP. Then the Immortal came along and shattered the ceiling for what SMGs could do, and then we got the Unending Tempest, and the power kept on creeping. Now, Multimach is back, but it came back home. It walked through the door to find its girl with 3 other men, all of whom look more jacked than he is. So what's he gonna do about it? That's the question today. We have Multimach, but is it good enough to earn back its spot in your inventory or no? Let's break it down. The Multimach is an Iron Banner SMG. It's obtainable simply by turning in Iron Banner engrams until you get one to drop for you. Then you can focus your engrams into Multimachs to your heart's content. I focused no fewer than 30 and played around with a lot of perk combinations to see what felt best. Let's take a quick pass at the base stats and then the perk pool. So the Multimach is a 900 RPM SMG, so it's a friggin' bullet hose. It has 29 base range with a drop-off distance of 17.06 meters. It's got 38 stability, 70 handling, 26 reload speed, 55 aim assist, 15 zoom, and a perfect recoil direction of 100, which means for barrels, you're going to want to pass on like arrowhead break and chambered compensator because you just don't need them, right? Now for perks in the first column, you've got under over for when you're dealing with teams with overshields and titan walls. You've got moving target, which is never a bad choice. You got rangefinder, which has been nerfed since the last time we saw the Multimach. So you've got Iron Gaze, which adds 20 aim assist while tanking the range down to 0, which is kind of funny. And yes, I did use a 0 range roll on stream yesterday. It was friggin' terrible. It's got dynamic sway reduction, which is always good on bullet hoses. And finally, attrition orbs, which is useless and will remain useless until it gets a rework. Now let's talk about these first column perks for a second. Most of them are throwaways to me. I played around with rangefinder, and the extra zoom is nice for deeper duels, and keep the reticle on the head in the middle of those duels. But overall, it doesn't help Multimach be a better Multimach. I mean, this thing is scrappy. It's a brawler. It's not a deep dueler SMG like Shayura is. I'd rather double down on its scrappy brawler nature. Iron Gaze is an instant dismantle for me. I tried it, and it sucked. Tanking the range is not at all worth it. Attrition Orbs is trash. This leaves 3 perks. You've got Under Over, Moving Target, Dynamic Sway. I'm going to boil it down to 2. The best choices here are Dynamic Sway and Under Over. There's a lot of Overshield and Barricade usage in 3s. Under Over isn't always going to be useful, but in those lobbies, it's going to be a game changer in your duels. It's worth having an Under Over roll lying around. The second perk worth keeping is Dynamic Sway Reduction, and the Multimach that I came to use the most and rely on the most has it. You'll see a lot of gameplay with that roll. I tried a moving target and kill clip roll, but once I got dynamic and kill clip, the difference was night and day. Alright, let's hit that second column. Target lock is trash, don't keep it. It doesn't activate in your duels. Multimach will kill your enemy guardian before target lock has a chance to activate it. Played several matches with a target lock roll. It's literally useless. Tap the trigger, amazing perk. Kinetic Tremors is a PvE perk, don't use it. Kill clip, tried and true. Iron Reach, trash. I'll talk about why in a second. Frenzy, which is a pass for me personally, but this is more a personal preference thing. Let me talk about Iron Reach. This perk used to be better on the Multimach. Back in Season 13 when the Multimach made its first resurgence, people would toss Iron Reach on this thing and absolutely slay with it. They'd be mapping people. But since then, Bungie nerfed SMGs to where the stability stat value matters, where previously it did not. I mean, you could tank the stability to 0 and still beam people with the Multimach because range was everything. But Bungie changed the rules, so now Iron Reach, tanking your stability by 20 points, is a very bad deal. Don't do it. Kinetic Tremors isn't useful in PvP. Frenzy, to me, just has weird activation requirements, and I don't like the lack of predictability with it, so I don't tend to use Frenzy on my weapons. That leaves Tap the Trigger and Kill Clip. Now I tried a dynamic sway and tap the trigger roll. You'll see some gameplay of that one in the video, but I just wasn't really impressed with it. And I think it's because going for a raw dueling roll on the Multimach is leaning into something that the Multimach is not, right? There are other dueler SMGs out there that are way, way better at being raw duelers. Let me tell you what I think the core identity of the Multimach is, because once I started to play to its strengths, that's when the gun started to really work for me. The Multimach is a scrappy little brawler of a gun. It is a punchy pocket rocket. It's not an endurance fighter. It's not going to go 12 rounds in the ring with anybody. Multimach wants to end the fight fast in round 1 and then get the heck out of the ring and go find another fight. You know those anime scenes where the bad guy steps up and the ominous music plays and then he goes on this monologue about who he is and what he can do and how he's going to kill the hero, and the hero just sort of stands there with this like surprised look on their face for like 2 minutes straight while the guy just jabs? Well, Multimach is the hero that every now and then just sucker punches the dude in the middle of his monologue. It's like, listen, I don't really care, bro. I'm not here to chat or compare tragic backstories. I just want to punch you in the face. That's the Multimach. Get in, shred someone, get out. So getting the Multimach to work for me meant doubling down on that identity. So I went with dynamic sway reduction for laser precision as I'm beaming the enemy, and kill clip so I can get ready rapidly for another fight right away. That's the perk combo that I think is best on this gun right now. Yes, it's another kill clip roll. Yay. And I also went into my time machine to revive a playstyle I haven't used in a couple of seasons because Arc Titan's got some hefty nerfs. But I tossed on my Syntheseps and put my barricade in the trash and decided to run thrusters instead. And I think you'll see in the background gameplay just how a crazy mobile punchy build works so well with a Multimach. This is where the Multimach can shine. And as you're using kill clip to chain kills, you're also building up stacks of field tested, the origin trait, the one that I choose to run over the Iron Banner one. So you'll usually have, you know, up to 2 stacks going for you in PvP. Now it's not a lot, but an extra 6 range and 10 reload speed and 6 stability, hey, it never hurts. Now I'm going to level with you on one other thing. I think Multimach is not good in 6s. Like, you can make it work. If you're really good at closing gaps and avoiding multiple sight lines at once, hey, it's kind of hard to do, but I mean, you could make it work. Multimach, though, really shines for me in 3s, where I'm much more free to move about the map and pick my engagements as I see fit. Because in 6s right now, I feel like at least 3 people on every enemy team are holding lanes. They've got Jade Rabbits and Scouts and Bows, and they're on these far edges of the map. So kind of doing these little cross routes to cut into different sections of the map, you're usually crossing somebody's sightline, and you're just going to get a pot shot from a Jade Rabbit over here and a pot shot from a Jade Rabbit over there. It makes it hard in 6s with so many people just holding lanes. 3s, you've got a lot more freedom. In 3s, it was really good at dividing the enemy team up. You know, I could push individuals while others were respawning, and that's where I had the most success with the Multimach, was really just keeping the pressure on when we had numbers advantage. So the main summary of the gun for me is this. It's a scrappy fighter that needs dynamic sway and kill clip and a mobile playstyle to leverage it well. But there's one small asterisk I feel like I should at least mention before we wrap up the video. Multimach does have some direct competition. There's another 900 RPM SMG in the kinetic slot, but this one is craftable and can have enhanced perks on it. I'm talking, of course, about the Submission SMG from the Vow of the Disciple raid. And here's the bottom line. The Submission at base is better than the Multimach in basically every stat category. It has the same zoom and the same base range, but it's got a lot more stability. It's got a faster reload speed. It's got more aim assist. And while Multimach has an airborne effectiveness value of 12, Submission has a value of 27. So Submission has 28 more stat points under the hood than Multimach does. That's a lot. That is a big difference. Not to mention, it's craftable, so you can enhance your perks too. And if you want to kill chain with your Submission, like we're doing on the Multimach, you can do that too. My Submission has nearly 50 base range, which is way more than Multimach, but it also has enhanced killing wind, enhanced encore. It's a chaining monster, plus it heals me a little bit whenever I reload it. And I've got close to 5,000 PvP final blows on the thing. So I'm not just talking out my butt. It's a legitimate monster. Now, I know not everyone can craft a submission, right? It's a raid weapon. But if you can, then frankly, the Multimach is just a second-rate submission in my eyes. So let's bring this whole thing home. Where does the Multimach sit now in the meta? Is it going to shake things up? Will it be in the top 10 weapons used in Trials next week? Here's the thing. Destiny kept growing while the Multimach was away. New players came to the table. Multimach is still good. It has a real purpose and a clear identity that can be really fun to play around with in PvP, but it's not the king of anything anymore. It can be a great gun for someone, but when the chips are down, I don't see any serious PvP enthusiast reaching for their Multimach to get the job done when it matters most. I give the Multimach a grade of B-, and that's the review. Thank you so much for watching the video today. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay and the breakdown. If you liked the video, would you consider doing me a favor and leaving a like on the video, as that's the best free way to support the content here on YouTube. And consider subscribing for additional Destiny 2 content. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.